Okay, my name is Howard Eber and I am an alcoholic. Welcome to the Big Book Comes Alive Deep Dive meeting. This week, for the final week of the month, we are being facilitated by Rach. So take it away, Rach.
Thank you so much, Howard and Kathy, for inviting me. My name's Rach. I'm a very, very grateful, recovered.
I'm sorry, Rach, you have to unmute.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you heard me say that.
We did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm a very grateful, recovered alcoholic, and I'm so grateful to be here. I was so nervous on the first day of doing this, and now I'm like, I've blinked and it's over, and I don't want it to be over. So thank you all for being here. I absolutely love this literature. I love the steps, and welcome to anyone who's new. This stuff is magic and it's guaranteed to work. So we kicked off. Well, we finished up last week on page 84. We just talked about these incredible step 9 promises, and we're halfway down the page. We're going into step 10. So it says, this thought brings us to step 10. Okay, so this thought being that these extravagant promises are being fulfilled among us. This is facts, proof, evidence. We are the joint collective global evidence that this thing works. These extravagant promises are coming true. And I always think it's really helpful just to read the step that we're on, because I know we have some newcomers here. So let's go back to page 59 and just read step 10. So it says, step 10, continued. That word comes up a lot in this paragraph we're about to read. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. I mean, talk about clear-cut direction. Promptly admitted it. I've just gone through this whole process of writing down an inventory in 4, sharing it with my sponsor in 5, understanding the harms that I've caused, understanding my mistakes, seeing my character defects for the first time, and going through this process of 6 and 7 where I'm able to start acknowledging what these things are, and 8 and 9 where I'm realizing just how long I've been hanging on to these resentments for. For the first time, 43 years old. And when I did my inventory in this whole process, I was like, wow, you've got resentments from way back when you were a child. So now I'm at step 10. I want to be really on this thing. This is a working part of my program, or, I'm going to carry it with me. So beautiful step, promptly admitted it. And an inventory, I love looking up the words. An inventory is not just a list, it's a complete list. So I like the thoroughness of that. Personal inventory. I'm completely having a mini house cleaning each evening, or throughout the day even. Sorry, this is not, we won't get it twisted with the nightly review. So this thought brings us to step 10. We're back on page 84, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory. Oh, my sign is over there. Damn it, I've got a sign. That suggests to me, we've got another suggests down on page 85 where it says step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. It's a suggestion if you want to feel the effects of the incredible step. I have to take this suggestion and actually work with it if I want to feel the benefits from it. So to me, I get my must sign out and flash that about. This is, if I want it to work, use it. So continue. There's the first continue in this paragraph. It comes up 4 times. This is an action program. And I've got loads of cross references here. So if we get time at the end, I'll pull up all of the places where it says action, action, action. But I'll continue with this for now. So I'll put a little 1 next to that continue. Personal inventory. Now, I did a little cross reference to page 67 and 83. Just stay with me and choose if you think it's relevant, because it is in a different step. but I love these threads, and I know Howard and Kathy love it too. On page 67, it says, this is halfway down the page from that paragraph, referring to our list again. And then it says, putting out of our minds the wrongs others had done, we resolutely looked for our own mistakes. So this is always, I'm looking within. When I'm looking externally, I have to understand that I am powerless. The whole point of this process is that I can't change other people and I can't change the past. So I waste a lot of time and energy trying to do that. The real work needs to go on my personal inventory. And it says a bit further down on that same paragraph, the inventory was ours, not the other man's. So if you're anything like me and turned into a Judgy McJudgerson when you've gone through your steps and started noticing other people's character defects, and not looking at my own, it's a waste of time and energy. And that other reference was on page 83, where it says, just a page behind, and it says, on that first paragraph, it says, their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible. So again, I might be able to see stuff in other people, but what I'm training to do now is look at my own personal inventory and go to God with that, in my 6 and 7, but we're in 10 at the moment. So take personal inventory and continue. There's the second continue, to set right. So again, this is another reference to the action. Set right. I'm going to admit where I was wrong promptly. Making amends isn't just saying sorry. These are very clear-cut directions in the book. When I break it down, it tells me exactly what I need to do. And then it says, any new mistakes as we go along. I did have some, it goes on to step 11. I didn't actually write this one down, but if you flick the page over to 87, 3 lines down, it says, being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We may pay for this in all sorts of, pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more in the plane of inspiration. So these new mistakes are inevitable. This is part of my learning. This is part of my growing. It's just whether I am willing to put the time and energy into this part of my program. And I'm really big on my attitude towards this, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as a bit further on. And then I've got loads of underlining on this bit, because there's loads of references to it being like time references, and it says as we go along. So I've underlined that. I've got loads of highlights in here because I made the mistake in my first year and a half of my recovery, and I would put my I misunderstood this. I didn't actually do this part of my recovery. I did a nightly review, which is great. But if I get resentful or scared at 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing my nightly review at 9 p.m., I'm carrying that with me all the way through the day. So I want to be checking on this as we go along throughout the day, at any time of day. It says we vigorously. Now, I love defining all of the words. So vigorously means carried out forcefully and energetically. I like that. I like thinking about this being done with energy. It says with great energy and enthusiasm. And that's one of my favorite words. It's become one of my favorite words. Enthusiasm means to be inspired and possessed by God. So if I'm vigorously commencing this way of living with enthusiasm and energy, it kind of refers to my attitude towards my recovery. Because if I am dragging my feet and seeing this beautiful step as a chore, which there's been times in my recovery, definitely, where I've just been like, well, there's been times where I haven't done an effective step 10. And then what happens is I carry this fear and resentment with me throughout the day. And there's been times where I've half-assed it. I've done it as like a tick box exercise at the end of the evening. Well, we go on to step 11, where it says I'm trying to improve my conscious contact with God as we understood him. So the amount of vigor and energy and enthusiasm that I put into my program, that's most likely going to have an outcome, right? What kind of outcome? Do I want to be rocketed into the fourth dimension? Or do I want to be in pain effectively? Because that's what I find when I don't do the stuff that I know I'm meant to do. So, and I love the word commenced as well, because commenced means to begin. And I love all of the references. I haven't done them, there's too many to count. But whenever the big book tells me that I'm going to commence something, I always think it's a wonderful, like, symbol of I can reset, I can restart, I can begin again, I can commence, I can vigorously commence this way of living. And I did do a couple of cross references. I am going to start taking a leaf out of Howard's book and start doing some worksheets, because some handouts even, because I love the threads of recovery. And in the book, I've always boxed off where it says design for living, way of life. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, we've got one back on page 13, back in Bill's story. So I'll just go there and find it for you. So just at the bottom of the page, 3 lines up, Bill Wilson saying, my friend promised that when these things were done, I would enter upon a new relationship with my creator. It's a powerful promise, but these things are coming true. That I would have the elements of a way of living. My experience so far has been that of my step 1 experience. I understand that I am an alcoholic. I know that there's no going back. So I understand fully that I need to work a program for the rest of my life. Otherwise, I will pick up. I've seen so many people. There's been 4 people in my life recently who have picked up. And they were once on fire, and this is the reality of it. So we've got one on 13. We've got 2 on 15, which is one of my favorites. So just halfway down the page, the last sentence, it says, it is a design for living. And I can't not read the bit before, actually. Many times I've gone to the old hospital in despair. On talking to a man there, I'd be amazingly lifted up and set on my feet. It is a design for living that works in rough going. And then if you just jump down a couple of lines, it says, and this one's my favorite, it says the joy of living. We really have, even under pressure and difficulty. And I've got a little line in my book from that line, the joy of living, we really have, even under pressure and difficulty. I've got a line over to when Dr. Silkworth says to Bill Wilson, anything is better than the way you were. And that is a beautiful line that reminds me to be grateful. So not only is this a design for living, but I need to remember that anything is better than the way I was. And actually, am I remembering to be joyful as I work this program? So again, I like these connections to what I would have originally thought, oh, well, I don't I don't want to look at where I'm being selfish and dishonest and self-seeking and afraid. I want to stay looking at you and why you're the problem. But can I grab hold of this and get what's on offer to me? So and the other one, I'll just give them quickly. There's one on page 28 and there's one on page 81. And they both say a design for living. And there's probably a ton more, but those were the ones that I could think of in the short term. So a really good reference to anybody new that's coming along. That if I can make this a daily part of my life from the beginning, then it's more manageable. If I come in all guns blazing and then take my foot off the gas and then put my foot on and then take my foot off, I can't sustain it. It's harder for me to, you know. So this as we go along, we vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. So again, I haven't put the cross references here to this house cleaning and you know, this amazing new way where we talked about the step 5 promises, about in when we were referring back from the step 9 promises, you know, I can look the world in the eye. I can sit alone at perfect peace and ease. And the step 9 promises that we just went through over the past couple of weeks have just been so incredible and beautiful. And this is such a powerful line, isn't it? We have entered the world of the spirit, capitalized S. So I've gone from this 2D slash 3D life, which I always think is like, I can see it now. And I didn't know I was separate from, I felt like I was in the matrix. Like now I can see it, this kind of like rat run. I grew up in Soho in London. If anybody's ever been there, it's the capital of the country. It's busy. Everyone's like, everyone's on a mission. And I didn't stop to literally smell the roses. And now I feel connected to the spiritual realm. Like I can look at, you know, a bug and go, oh my gosh, we are both a life force. We both have a tiny little space on this planet right now. We're going to come and go, this thing of impermanence. What a gift it is. I feel connected now like I have never done before. And that's come as a part of me working this program and living the program. So we've entered the world of the spirit. And again, you know, I haven't written in these page numbers, but just thinking about catapulted into the 4th dimension and rocketed into the 4th dimension. So page 58 and page 25, I think, if I'm correct, those dimension, 4th dimension, different level, realm of the spirit. And then it says, our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So I love that it's telling me now, I felt so useless before. And I've found this purpose. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. So function, I was not functioning as a human. I was like this kind of broken mess of a woman, a parent, and I was just lost and afraid. And I've got a function now, and I like to think of this bit reminds me. I'll read the sentence and then I'll do the little cross references that I've got. Our next function is to grow. I love the word grow as well, and the references. Thank you so much, Rob. I've done a little cross-reference above grow to page 12, where Bill Wilson is talking about Ebby, and he says, I saw that my friend was much more than inwardly reorganized. He was on a different footing. His roots grasped new soil. And I love the references to like growth and, yeah, I guess nature, because it's like when there's that reference to the resentment, and it's like from its stem all forms of spiritual disease. And it's when I think of my roots grasping new soil, I think I've been repotted, I've been planted in this nutritious realm of the spirit where I'm unfolding as a flower, and I'm like opening up. I'm not shivering, behind this mountain, this icy intellectual alone and scared anymore. I'm being nourished and I'm growing. So I love that. And I love the fact that it's infinite. This growth is infinite. So our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So again, when I think about my understanding before, my warped vision, how I look the world through my drunken, warped glasses, that it was your fault. It's the insanity of my illness, but I have an understanding today that my pain, if I look up, just up the page, it says, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. I mean, I'm understanding that my pain is becoming my greatest asset. We did some cross references on that last week. There was that one, I think it's 161, where it says, wrecked in the same vessel. We are now attuned to helping others. I love that. Attuned to the welfare of others. Effectiveness. I did a reference to page 77, which sums up the whole program. And it's 3 lines down, and it says, our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us. It's the opposite of what my problem is. My troubles, it tells me on page 62, is my selfishness and my self-centeredness, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-pity, and self-seeking, right? And now I'm getting this understanding that to be effective, I'm going to grow with this program along with these steps. What a gift. And then it's got this lovely, I did another actual cross reference. One sec. Yeah, just on that, our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. I did another cross reference to page 89. And at the bottom of the page, the very last line, it says, to be helpful is our only aim. That's how simple this program is. The more helpful I am to others, the more God provides me with all of my needs. It's just reminding me of 63 there, just jumped into my head, where it says, let me just go there so I don't misquote it. When we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. We had a new employer. Being all powerful, he provided what we needed if we kept close to him and performed his work well. Am I taking my step 10 seriously? Am I trying to grow in understanding and effectiveness? Am I ticking boxes? I'm asking myself, I'm not, I'm asking us as a collective, is when I study this literature, it really makes me think about it. It really makes me think about it. And I love that we only do a paragraph at a time on this, because it goes slow, we go deep into it. What a reassuring statement here. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue. So there's the third continue. It should continue for our lifetime. There's another way of saying design for living, way of life, program of action. Like I said, if I have enough time, I probably won't, but I've got a whole list. 164 and more is a very useful resource, because I put in action and it tells me all of the places it says action, action, action. And it's like, wow. So this is not an overnight matter. So this reminds me that I need to be patient, practice. It should continue for our lifetime. Am I all the way in? Oh, there we go. Howard's got the actual what's it version. That's so cool. I use the digital one and it kind of bounces me around. That's brilliant. I didn't know they had a copy like that. So it should continue for our lifetime. And then the fourth continue, and you know, anyone who does Howard's book studies will know this WADAP acronym, which I have literally found so helpful, and I pass it on to all my sponsees, and I literally sometimes count it on my hand. Okay. And I find that so helpful. So, you know, I'm 5 years in, and sometimes I've just put my hand up by accident. Watch, ask, discuss, amends, and turn. And I ask myself those questions. Okay, watching. So we'll go through it. So we're watching, continue to watch. So there's the W for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Now, those are the opposite of the four absolutes. I know we've got a load of big bookers here who already know this, but we've also got some newcomers. So I'll just, you know, explain briefly that Bill Wilson knew these four absolutes were absolute honesty, absolute unselfishness, absolute purity, and absolute love. Bill Wilson was like, oh, hell, we're not gonna relate to that, because we're like the naughty kids, you know, we're like the rule breakers, we're the rebels, we won't be told. So he flipped it, and it's brilliant. And there are loads of places where this comes up. So we've got 62, which is not an exact reference, but it says selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. So we've got selfish in there. We've got fear, driven by 100 forms of fear. We've got self-delusion, which sounds to me like dishonesty. And we've got self-seeking and self-pity. So resentment doesn't come up in that example, but I'll just be quick because I'm running out of time. We've got 67. So go on a few pages, and it says, and this is halfway down the page, referring to our list again. We've already referred to it once today. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened? So again, he's drumming in. Let's watch for these things. They're dangerous for me. They come up regularly. We've got another one on 69, which is not exactly accurate, but it talks in the sex conduct about, you know, where have we, in the second paragraph down, it says, where have we been selfish, dishonest, or inconsiderate? Whom have we hurt? Again, you know, it doesn't say resentment and fear in that, but it's roundabout. And on 86, it talks about, again, it says, when it's on our nightly review, it says, were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, and afraid? So that's quite a lot of times in the book that it's reminding us to watch for these things because they're on me, right? So selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. And then it says when these crop up. So I've got a thick underline on my book. It doesn't say if. I'm human. These things are very common. There's loads of references in the book to them. So when these crop up, and then we've got the ask God at once. So I've double underlined at once. It tells me right now, straight away. And I've circled that ask to remove them. Do I actively do this? This is such a good question. Like, sometimes I need to just strip it back to basics. I can watch for it, I can see it come up, I can discuss it at once, but have I missed that crucial step? God is all powerful. So that's a really important bit. We ask at once to remove them. Again, that's going to be the difference of if I deal with this straight away, or if I carry it with me throughout the day. And all those interactions I have in between, and all of my mind squandered, you know, where it says on page 64, it says, have I squandered the hours that could have been worthwhile? So I want to remove them. We discuss, so there's the D in Wadat. We discuss them with someone immediately. A double underlined immediately. That means now, not later, not tonight. And make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. Again, that beautiful word, to set right, to take action, to put this right. And I've double underlined the quickly, if we have harmed anyone, question mark. And this is a, and with the discuss then with someone immediately, I send a written spot check inventory to my sponsor, but I also have a group of women who are like my like my tribe's women, who I can either pick up the phone. I've got women in different places around the world who I can send a little voice note to, and they're going to get back to me. And these people I've selected carefully because they are big book people, they are recovery people. They're not going to be manipulated or sidewinded to you know, to go along with, they're not going to co-sign my BS, as we say. So make amends quickly. We've just gone through this incredible process of, you know, like I said earlier, of holding on to resentments throughout our life and how useless, pointless, and futile that is. And then this is the bit that I absolutely love. This is the bit that I find so practical and helpful. And this is the bit for me that turns it more. Like, I do all of the other steps, obviously, but this is the bit where I find that the resentments can be, or the fear even can be completely sort of forgotten about. And it says, then we resolutely turn. So there's the T in the Wadat, but I love the word resolutely because it means the definition that I found. Oh, thank you. Yes. In an admirably purposeful. Admirably purposeful. That's beautiful, isn't it? So I've got this purpose, admirably purposeful, determined, and unwavering manner. So I know what I need to do. And the simplicity of this, I imagined that it said, turn our actions, turn my behavior, it doesn't, it just says resolutely turn our thoughts. So obviously it's great if I can pick up the phone and call a newcomer, that's amazing. But maybe maybe I'm at work, maybe I can't in that moment. But by resolutely turning our thoughts to someone we can help. Clear cut direction. And then one of my favorite words in the world, because I live by this. Oh, I've got a top, it says it on. Love. For me, God is love, right? Love, yeah, Rach heart, Rach love. Love and tolerance of others is our code. So this beautiful, clear-cut direction about me practicing my program in all my affairs, me looking inward. This brilliant thing that I heard once, if I'm disturbed, it's because I'm disturbable. Where can I nip this in the bud? Where can I admit I was wrong promptly? Where can I turn to God, turn to help people? Just with this last minute, what I would like to do is read. If anybody wants this, just give me a shout. I will send it to you. It's just a pulled thing from 164 and more, just some references to where it says action. So page 85, it's easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. Program of action. These are not in order, I don't think. Page 98, when your prospect has made such reparation as he can do to his family and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he is living. Ah, that's great. He should proceed to put these principles into action at home. Page 94, outline the program. Oh, sorry. Shall I finish, Howard? Just these last
Go
few?
right ahead. No, go finish it.
Oh,
Go right ahead.
thank you.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I love the music. That's cool.
I don't know where that came from. It's the new computer, but
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so page 94, outline the program of action, explaining how you made a self-appraisal, how you straightened out the past, and why you are now endeavoring to be helpful to him. We've got a few more. Page 9, he had told of a simple religious idea and a practical program of action. Page 17, we have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. Page 85, but we must go further, and this means more action. Page 88, there is action, and guess what? More action. I've got one more. Page 93, to be vital, I love this one. To be vital, faith must be accompanied by self-sacrifice and unselfish, constructive action. Thank you so much for allowing me to be of service. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to hear you guys. Thank you.